What's going on, drivers? Smoking weed and driving a truck. We're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, smash that like and subscribe button. I sure appreciate all of you that stop by and check this out. First things first, at the present time, recreational marijuana and driving a truck ain't gonna work. We are one of the most drug tested industries. A lot of companies, especially the mega carriers, have gone to doing hair follicle testing or hair drug testing. A couple of years ago at Crete, when I was working there, one of the terminal managers and I were talking about that. And he said himself, he said DOT requiring a hair test is coming. He said the reason that Crete carriers and some of these other larger companies have already started doing them is because, one, they know it's coming, and number two, we are the testing grounds for the federal government. When the federal government goes to push it and add it to the DOT physical and requiring it, then they're going to use our findings over the last few years as their reason for pushing it. Just like e-logs. Before it was industry-wide, it was Warner Trucking. They were the ones doing e-logs. They were basically testing it for the federal government. It's basically what they were doing. You know, and then it slowly rolled out, you know, across the industry over the years, right? That's the same thing that's going to happen with hair testing. I really, truly believe that to be fact. Now, more and more states are legalizing marijuana, and it's still not allowed within trucking, and it's not just trucking. If you try to go to work in the refineries and they drug test as well, and they're not allowing it either. I got friends that work for Zachary Construction and Brown and Root, Tyco Thermal Controls, Thermon, you know, TIC, some of these big construction companies, and they're not allowing it either. So it's not just truck drivers. It's pretty much any good job out there. Pretty much any decent job out there. There's a couple of reasons why. One is the insurance. Workman's comp insurance is not going to cover an employee that tests positive for any drugs, legal or illegal. We take breathalyzer tests as well. They check for alcohol, and alcohol is legal. Okay, so just because it's legal doesn't change anything. It still is not allowed within the industry, period. You're also not allowed to possess it. And from what I was reading earlier, even in states where it is legal, you're not allowed to possess it inside the cab of your truck. Just like you're not allowed to possess alcohol within the side of your within the cab of your truck. Alcohol is legal too, but you can't possess it inside the cab of your truck. Same thing with marijuana. You cannot possess it within the cab of your truck. And if it is an open container of marijuana, they charge you just like an open container of alcohol. And you go to jail for that. If you're under the influence of marijuana, you go to jail for a DUI, just like you go to jail for a DUI with alcohol. Now, the testing for marijuana is steadily oncoming. At the current time, they're using testing that's similar to similar to alcohol to test for impairment. But they're working on breathalyzers. They're working on blood tests. They're working on all kinds of things. And trust me, that technology is coming. It's too much revenue for these states to not have that technology. They make a lot of money on DUIs. It's way too much revenue. They're going to get this equipment. They're going to start testing on the side of the road, testing for marijuana just like they test for alcohol. And as we're going to see in this video clip right here, this is a driver. This wasn't a truck driver, but this is a car driver in the state of Washington being arrested for being under the influence of marijuana.
About 2-3 hours ago.
About 2-3 hours ago? Okay. Go ahead, just turn the car off, come back into my car real quick, have a conversation, okay?
Stay right here.
You guys stay right here, okay? So you smoked marijuana about 2 hours ago?
About 3 hours ago before I took now.
Do you feel impaired right now?
I'm good, yeah.
Do you feel impaired at all?
What's impaired?
Like, do you feel like you should be driving a vehicle?
Oh, no, I'm good. I took a nap and everything, and then once the sun went down, I'm like, let's go get you diapers and dish soap. I got a list on my phone.
Okay. Would you be willing to do some field sobriety tests real quick to make sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I want you to imagine there's an imaginary straight line right in front of you, okay? You're going to keep your legs like this, put your arms down by your side. So I got one more deputy coming. He's going to do something. He's going to check your eyes real quick. Deputy Diener, he's a traffic deputy. He specializes in, obviously, traffic enforcement and DUI. So he came over here to kind of do just a special test for marijuana. He smells like marijuana. He said he smoked about 2-3 hours ago, took a nap. He's got 2 kids in the back of his car. It's pretty common, most people, with the legalization of marijuana, a lot of people nowadays think they can smoke and drive. Obviously you can still. Drive impaired, especially when you have little ones in the back seat. So we're seeing it a lot more frequently now. We're taking the kids to the substation with father, and they're going to be in a separate room during this investigation. And they'll be safe and sound, and we'll take care of them. And then they'll be released to a separate party. DUIs.
And I know some of you will say, well, yeah, but they're beating some of these marijuana DUI cases. Yeah, they beat alcohol DUI cases too, but it still affects you. Even when you beat a DUI alcohol case, it still jacks with your life. You had the time, you had to fight it, you weren't working and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with marijuana. You got the time, you got to fight it, and you ain't working and all that kind of stuff. So even if you think you can beat it, it's still probably not a good idea to do it. What are your thoughts, driver? Do you think drivers should be allowed to smoke marijuana? Do you think drivers should be allowed to smoke marijuana while driving a truck? Do you think marijuana is an impairment that causes accidents? Let's check out this clip right here.
Driving while high, law enforcement officials drew several parallels to driving while drunk.
If troopers encounter a vehicle and it smells like the occupants have been smoking marijuana, you can bet that that trooper is going to be looking further into that situation to see if there's a violation either of the open container law, which includes the prohibition against using any marijuana or cannabis product while in a vehicle.
Colonel Matt Langer, chief of the Minnesota State Police, says drug-impaired driving has already been on the rise.
Drug driving accounts for just under 7,000 DWI incidents from a period of time between 2012 and 2016, compared with just under 16,000 incidents from 2017 to 2021.
That's a 127% increase in drug driving. Fatal crash numbers also tell a story.
So far, as of today, at least 197 Minnesotans have lost their lives in crashes on Minnesota roads. Of that 197, 29 of those fatalities are directly attributed to an alcohol-impaired driver. 21 of those fatalities are directly attributed to a drug-impaired driver. And 13 of those fatalities are attributed to a combination of drugs and alcohol impairing a driver.
Now, as you can see from that clip, they have proven that marijuana does cause accidents and does hurt and kill people. And they've already built up statistics for it. That was in the state of Minnesota. Now I'm gonna give my personal opinion on it. My personal opinion is I wouldn't want you driving next to my family high or drunk. I don't think smoking marijuana in the trucking industry is ever going to be an acceptable thing, ever. I smoked pot, I smoked weed when I was young, when I was a teenager. But there came a point in life when I realized, hey, I got to quit. If I want a better job, if I want to provide better for my family, if I want nicer things in life, I'm going to have to quit. Because if I keep smoking pot, I'm only going to be able to work these little odd and end jobs, little handyman jobs, or work down at the Taco Bell. I mean, that's the only places I was going to be able to work smoking weed. And part of maturing and part of growing up is you leave behind the things you did in your adolescent years. But for some reason in today's society, people are not maturing anymore. A 40-year-old man acts just like a 17-year-old kid nowadays. People are not maturing anymore. They're not growing out of that adolescent thing. You'll hear a 40-year-old man argue for some of the most immature things you've ever heard in your life. I mean, it's crazy. And any of y'all that are watching the video, you've seen the comments on videos. There's some very grown, very immature people. People today are not as mature as our previous generations. Our parents and grandparents didn't act the way that our generation acts at our age. I'm not sure what's causing that. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know if it's GMOs. I don't know what it is. But people today are not as mature as our predecessors. All right, drivers, that's my opinion on it. That's what I think about it. My opinion is just an opinion. We've all got one. But I would like to hear your opinion. What are your thoughts? Do you think it'll ever change? Do you think it'll ever be allowed? I know some of you smell it out in the truck stops. I smell it in the truck stops almost every time I park in a truck stop. So it's happening. Plus, I've seen trucks literally park at the dispensaries. So I know they're going in there and buying it, which I think is crazy because they scan your driver's license. I'm sure that stuff's going into a database. But drop down below, let me know your thoughts. Y'all take care, stay safe, and keep trucking.
Please call the medic, this beat came to me on a stretcher. In the lab, I step to the mic and feel like I'm Dexter. I'm a man, dark world, but I'm still shining like treasure. Yeah, I got joy like ha ha ha. Wait, and I can't wear smiles, that's fake. Then I'm between love and strong. Hate clock says no time for mistakes. Ring the alarm, sirens go off, but I'm calm. My life resides in his palm. Submit to my pops, respect for my mom. Honoring both, so my life will be long. Third time, get the charm of the third strike. Had to.